Hi friends, welcome back to the show. We have a special guest today that I'm so excited for you to meet. We have Emilie Bell. She's visiting from Australia.
That's right.
And I cannot wait to pick her brain. This whole episode is about sourcing, so let's get into it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us who you are and what you do at doTERRA.
My name is Emilie Bell. I'm a Director of Strategic Sourcing for a region that covers Asia, Pacific, Oceania, and parts of Europe, and especially Bulgaria, which is very close to my heart. I'm based in Australia, on the west coast in Perth. So it makes it quite easy to, interact with all our oil supply partners with the time difference, behind me and forward. So, and I'm also the chair of the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation for Australia and New Zealand.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. She was here for the week and we were like, can we snag you please for a minute so we can just pick your brain? So thanks so much for taking some time and being here.
Thanks for having me. It's exciting to be here,
We were going to discuss lavender oil. And before we get into it, I'd really like to just throw out there, pretend like I know nothing about lavender. We've done lavender on the show before, but I was doing some research this week and I was thinking, I actually have some really basic questions about lavender and I'm excited to hear your experience with that. So first, let's start with the basic. Where do we source lavender essential oil?
So mainly we source it from France, but majority is from Bulgaria. So a Bulgarian lavender. And we have, our own doTERRA owns distillery set up on the east coast of Bulgaria in an area, city, town called Dobrich. So on the east side. It's a fantastic, actually, facility. Did you know we have 37 distillation stills at Esseterre?
No, I did not know.
We distill lavender, of course, but also melissa, summer savory, blue yarrow. And when it's the off-harvesting distillation season for those oils, we actually distill as well our frankincense resins and myrrh there. So it's a huge operation. It's been set up a few years ago and it's just grown over the years. It's managed by an amazing team of locals, Bulgarians. And we have so many wellness advocates coming to visit. Yeah, Bulgaria is a very special place. And that's where, we get our amazing Bulgarian lavender.
So can you say the location again?
Yeah.
Esseterre?
So Esseterre is the name of the distillery, and it's set in a place called Dobrich.
Okay, and that's in Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, east coast of Bulgaria.
So I feel like I've only watched the videos of like rose and lavender, and so it's so fun that you've been there. You've been there in real life. And do all of these oils that we're harvesting there, do they cross over, or are they all very like timelined?
It's pretty timeline. So the busy season at Esseterre is, I would say, probably from June till September, October when it comes to those oils. Obviously the biggest in terms of volume and production is the lavender, and that's usually more like in July. Mm-hmm. But there's a bit before and a bit after, you've got all those different oils that get harvested at different times. It's exciting because you get to see a lot. And during this other period of time, that's where we distill the frankincense and the myrrh resin.
Got it.
Yeah. So there are different stills, like even for yarrow, which is a blue oil, right? Yeah. We've got a line still specifically for blue yarrow so that it doesn't, contaminate other oils.
I feel like I've only really viewed maybe the rose portion of it. And it's so much bigger. I didn't even realize lavender was there.
Yeah, actually the rose, it's a different facility. So the rose is actually distilled at a subsidiary distillery we call Terra Rosa.
Okay.
That's probably about like 3 hours drive inland from the coast, from the east coast. Town is called Shipka. Okay. And that's in the Rose Valley. So that's usually around end of May, early June. So that's really the only oil we distill there at Terra Rosa. So a large portion of the team from Esseterre actually moves to Terra Rosa over like a 3 to 4 weeks period during the rose harvest.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'll be there at the end of May for the rose harvest.
I'm so jealous. I want to go with you.
You should. And we've got lots of wellness advocates coming to visit from different markets as well. So
selfishly, I want to ask you, have you wandered the fields of like the lavender fields? Have you been there while they're blooming? Tell us what it's like.
I know you might be a bit jealous, but well, first of all, I'll say lavender is very special to me. I'm French originally, so lavender, is part of my childhood. Actually, my grandmother had lavender growing in her garden, so every time I smell lavender, it makes me think of her. So that's very special. But yeah, I just love lavender. I mean, even, in Australia, we have lavender and I go on hikes and walks and I'm always like picking up little flowers, putting in my jacket, or I've got some on my bedside table. I just love it. And, it's purple color flowers. So when it's in full bloom, you're walking around the field and there's all these beautiful flowers around. And lavender is fascinating because it's actually, the first year you plant it, you don't harvest it. You really start from the second year, and the top in terms of timing for the yield is from year 3 or 4.
Oh.
But you can keep lavender on the ground for 8 to 10 years, and it regrows by itself.
Continuing.
Correct.
Like, oh my gosh, you can keep harvesting.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
realize that.
when you harvest the lavender for the distillation, so you take, the stem and the flower part on the top, it just regrows by itself and it's ready for a new harvest the year after. So it's fascinating.
That's amazing. Thank you for taking us there visually. I feel like I've seen, I keep saying I've seen all the videos, I've seen pictures, and it's like I just want to wander through the lavender fields. One day I'll get there.
And so the way it works in Bulgaria, we work with a certain number of farmers that grow lavender, I would say within, like 50 to 60 kilometers radius of the Esseterre facility. So they will, during the harvesting time, then, with special machinery, cut the top of those near bushes, I would call, of lavender, and they bring the trucks to Esseterre. So there's like a weighing scale at the entrance, so they bring in their trucks so we can actually measure the load, and that's how they get paid, based on the raw material that they bring. And then it gets distilled straight away. So we actually operate different shifts during the lavender harvest, and we just keep distilling like 24/7 for a few weeks, and they can just wait there to see even the oil being distilled from their own crops, and we test it straight away and everything. So it's very busy during that time for sure.
Sounds amazing. So fun. So to distill lavender, what actually happens once the farmers drop it off?
So when you walk around one day, I'm sure you'll come with me. When you walk around the distillery, you will see piles of, the lavender that's might look a little bit dry by then, but it's not fully dry. And so manually, then we will put, the raw material into the still, and we use steam distillation. So it would take probably 1 or 1.5 hours to distill one batch of lavender.
Okay.
And through steam distillation. So then, we collect the oil from there.
Now that you've given us some basic information about lavender, do you have any interesting facts or tips about the sourcing of lavender?
So we've talked about the harvesting technique. I know it's hard to judge like how much oil we can get from a field, a plantation. So interesting facts, 1 hectare of plantation will probably give you about 60 to 70 kilos of oil. So actually 1 ton, so 1,000 kilos of raw material. The yield is on average a minimum of 1% when we talk about the distillation. So that would actually give you 10 kilos.
Okay, so 10 kilos of oil. I'm not great with kilos. What is that, you guys?
I think it's about 2.2 pounds.
Okay.
So 1 kilo, is about 2.2 pounds.
That's huge.
It's huge.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We still need a lot of those little flowers to produce that.
Yes, we do. Thank you for educating us on how it's distilled and just the whole process. That's just so exciting. So will you share with us how you use lavender, like on a daily basis?
I use a lot of lavender.
You do?
I do. Especially at nighttime, it's something that really relaxes me. So, very often diffuse it on its own. I actually love also the touch. I travel a lot, so I'm on airplanes a lot. And I have to say that I use the lavender touch like behind my ears. It's always funny smells in airplanes and stuff like that. So, it's very, very handy, always in my handbag. The stick. of course, as well, on the bottom of my feet. People might think I'm a bit funny on the plane, but, I wear those compression socks on long flights. And so, I'll take off my socks, put a bit of the stick on my foot, and then sure enough, once it's happened, that the person next to me said, "What are you doing?" And so I explained she wanted to try it, so I had to share the love on the planes.
I wish I would have had that. I just had a long flight. I flew home from Italy last week, and I did not use lavender. I should have. I'll use it next time.
You should.
Awesome. Well, great tip. Thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank
everything
you.
you shared with us today. It was so great. Thanks for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed learning about lavender. We would love to hear your experience and how you're using it in your home with your family. Drop a comment or review so we can share with the community how other people are using lavender. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.